And at that point, they were making waves. They were frequently securing top 8 positions and top 8 final standings, really. And to come out here and finally bring that same level of energy and make another top 6 performance for the first time in what feels like several splits. They've got a new pickup, Zenil. Everything seems like it's going their way, unless you're 6 seconds in against G2.
You got your game plan. You're speaking to the coach, Mystic. You're saying, look, let's just stay tight at the beginning. You know, this is we're deep in this tournament right now. The last thing we want to do is throw away a goal straight away. That is what happens. So before G2 so rudely interrupted you, Turtle, you were telling us about the composition of Torrent.
You set me up for that one. I know you did. You know, they're obviously not the favorites up against G2, but the new pickup, Zenil. If you're not aware of Torrent, they just picked up Zenil, and he is the mechanical guru that Torrent have brought on. And they want to involve him as much as possible on the offensive side, and he's done a great job so far. Chiefs talking about the decision-making as Kinsei gets a noticeable save there, and that's another aspect that Torrent have improved on, the saving department. The saves here, so much stronger. Their defense can stand tall, stand alone against top-tier teams, but against G2, there's going to be a lot of infield passes, a lot of demos like Stacks talked about, so they've got their work cut out for them, Cole.
Well, I mean, I've been watching this team since they were Alpine, and they are a beautiful team to watch. But G2 at the moment, they are just on a complete other level. They win in Los Angeles. They do it looking flawless, almost, apart from, I was about to say Moist, apart from Queso. Not many teams can hold a candle to them back there. And then the first regional in North America, they win that as well. So can they be stopped right here by Torrent? It's going to be a long one. I think the fact that it's a best of 7 is an advantage to G2 as well.
Absolutely. It's going to be difficult. I mean, just because Torrent have made it this far, it doesn't mean that they should let up. I think it's really easy for teams in Torrent's position to get comfortable. They already made top 6. They're definitely happy. I got to interview Magic Bear yesterday, and he said that he was just happy to be here and to be able to compete against G2 and make top 6 because it's been so long. But you want to see the hunger from these young guns, from these young players on the field, and see really what they can bring above what they've already provided here against NRG in version 1.
Well, Magic Bear watched that one go over his head. He was much more confident than I was that that one wasn't going to nestle in the back of the net, but G2 have just applied so much pressure since the kickoff. It has been non-stop as Chicago goes in yet again. You were mentioning that Torrent's defense has improved. This is a real big test of that, because already from G2, you can see they are looking fluent and beautiful, and everything is working for them.
And no matter how great your defense looks, eventually things will fall. And that's mainly because all of this pressure, all of the shots coming through, they were getting starved out. They had no boost, couldn't manage. And eventually a mistake is going to come out. That one's a backboard whiff. Couldn't get contact on it, and G2 an easy cleanup.
It's just pure pressure game from G2 at the moment. They are taking everything that's on the pitch. Not letting poor old Torrent have a sniff at that beautiful yellow stuff that you want to fill your car up with. Chin-ups goes around it, just setting the ball high. They know they've got boost control, so they can afford to do this. And what they're doing as well, the way they're brutalizing Torrent right now is the bumps that the player off the ball is going for.
Absolutely.
As I say that, Magic Bear breaks ranks, but quickly, it's back in G2 possession.
And that's by far the strongest and smartest playstyle that G2 can incorporate here up against Torrent. You know that you have the advantage. You shouldn't try to destroy them in the 1v1 department or take a lot of solo challenges. Just try to stay very stable here on offense, keep the possession forward, and know that you can starve them out. And that's what they've been doing, keeping that ball forward, making sure they have that possession, taking boost, and waiting for a mistake. There was Chicago almost connecting on a double tap, but couldn't get that final shot in.
They can't gonna come again though with Atomic. Already you can see Kinsei's boostless. JNaps is up against Magic Bear, but Magic Bear has won that one cleanly, and Torrent, just bit by bit, managing to make it into the orange half. That's what we want to see. We don't want to see this first game go away from them too quickly. At some point, you'd expect they'd stabilize themselves in the series. Could it be in this game? It's another good shot from G2 at Chicago then, but more good defending.
And a really good demo there from Magic Bear to relieve some pressure. If you're trying to stop this onslaught of shots coming in from G2, taking out that third man is going to be a huge help. Here's another challenge from Zenil, and they're, like you said, Colt, bit by bit, getting out of their own half, finding ways to at least contain and maintain some possession. Here's Kinsei, though, on another challenge. He does win it, but still looking for a better follow-up, and Atomic, a nice cutoff there to intercept the pass.
50-50 game for Torrent is looking pretty good for them, managing to break through G2 at the moment, and then the demos come in. So they are starting just to begin to push that door open. It's just a single finger that's pushing against it. Need to really beat it down as far as the Torrent attacks go and the G2 defense. But his Magic
here we go.
Past JNaps. The Neil's in the middle, but he couldn't quite get that last touch. And that's where maybe the pressure's going to start getting getting to them. They're in the final 6. All eyes are on them in a best of 7. I'm not sure when the last time this org as an entity was in a best of 7. Everything feels different right now for them.
Yeah, and that's a moment where you need to shine if you're Magic Bear going for those double taps. If you want to beat a team like G2, you have to incorporate some higher level mechanics, getting those double taps, or at least something a bit more creative. G2, they're not going to make simple mistakes on defense. There's a good demo from Kinsey. Maybe forcing a mistake to come out is the play here for Torrent. Another pass across, another fake from Kinsey. Things lining up for Torrent, but they can't get that final shot to go towards the net.
I gotta say that Torrent will be pretty happy with how the second half of this first game has gone. They've really made more of an emphasis on attack. Is Kinsey, could he break the deadlock as far as Torrent are concerned? Not quite there. Magic Bear's gonna try again. Does he have anybody in the center? No, he doesn't. And Atomic can just swallow up the remaining time. G2 will win this first game. It's the question of whether it's 2-0 or not. And it was 2-0 to G2 Esports, as expected, but a relative comeback for Torrent.
And it was so clean from G2 Esports. And this is where other teams like V1 and NRG struggled against Torrent. They truthfully didn't play this more relaxed and fluid playstyle where they were just focusing on keeping possession. I noticed that in those previous series against Torrent, NRG and V1 were trying to outpace them in literally every challenge. They had, I would say, too much confidence going into the matchup against Torrent. But for G2, it was simple, clean, and very minimalistic here with those passes. 1, maybe 2 passes max. They weren't trying to do too much, Cole, which is important.
I'll tell you what else is important, Turtle, and that is that one of us is going to have to change. Look,
bro,
you knew I was wearing this. What? Just because you look
what
better
do you mean? I didn't know you were
this.
wearing that. Mine's not buttoned up, though. Come on. And where's the chain? Where's the chain?
Send me one, and I will rock it, and I will look cool.
All right. It's
cool.
on the way.
I'm cool. What do you mean? Who said I wasn't cool? 2-0 to G2 Esports in game number 1. Did you see enough from Torrent to suggest that they can do better going forward?
I didn't see enough. Not at all. There was so many opportunities off the backboard, a couple of double taps, mechanical issues, which I thought would be there. I mean, this is the reason why Torrent picked up Zanil, to shine more on the mechanical side. And we haven't seen anything spectacular. Yes, the defense has been able to get a couple of blocks, but I expect more as this series goes on, mechanically out of Torrent.
Well, lots to work on then. Just a bit of a foothold is what they need. And Magic Bear's trying to get it, but he's already out of boost. Kinsey's coming forward, then Zanil behind him. A man who's been so hyped up. Is this going to be his first sight of goal? Almost. J-Napster was so quick to respond. It's back to Kinsey. And at the moment, this second game is starting the way the first one ended, with Torrent just making a few more forays downtown towards the orange half on Aquadome, like they did in the first map.
I mean, it's already a step forward. I mean, within the first 6 seconds, they haven't gotten scored on. They're actually pushing past the midfield line, which is great. Zanil might be able to follow it up off the corner. Atomic, I've been so impressed with Atomic, at least within the first game. He's been getting every read here on the field, Cole, knowing where Torrent are trying to go. And right there again, putting himself in the position to intercept all those passes across.
It's always perfect decision-making from Atomic as well. You just know he'll make the right choice, whether it's bump, demo, snapshot, or something a bit more special than that. But speaking of specialism, Kinsey is dancing forward in Chicago just for a second. That ball looked like it was going to be going over the top of him. Not to be for now, but Kinsey keeps the attack going. Magic Bear is desperate to beat J-Naps to that ball. And G2 are looking a little bit pent back right now. They need to make these transitions count. Chicago needs to not get dunked for a start. Kinsey has a chance to shoot, but he's just missed it again. And at the last, there's a miss from Torrent when they had an opportunity.
You need to shine in those moments. You've got to step up mechanically to hit those shots, or at least find contact on the ball. Here's Zanil looking to dig himself out of this hole on defense. Can't find another touch. And we're waiting to see what Torrent have to offer. There's a demo, and then a backboard pass to Chicago. Clean from G2.
If you don't take your chances, G2 are going to punish you every single time, and this is how J-Naps just floating the ball above the goal. Chicago doesn't even need to do that much. Once G2 have really made their mechanical advantage count, eventually you feel their extra boost is going to make them score.
Yeah, that advantage in speed in the midfield really helping them out. Nobody was on the backboard from Torrent. 2 players in the net expecting a shot to come on target. And fortunately enough for G2, that one off the backboard. We'll see if Torrent can respond, but so far within the first few seconds of kickoff, they've been stuck in their own half.
Yeah, really important time right now for Torrent. They started this game the best. They didn't manage to get their goal and then they conceded. This is where you have to just stay strong for 20, 30 seconds or so. Make sure that you don't end up throwing this second game away, because G2, they will attack you like a panther. They will keep on coming. They're not going to give you a second to breathe now they've got that bit between their teeth.
It's really good control there from Chicago. What a dribble, too, getting past one player that passed in the midfield for Atomic. Maybe a double tap off the backboard. Two players doing so much work together. The chemistry absolutely outshining the rest.
It does scare me how often we have two Torrent players in their own goal, though. They'll have to fix that. But Magic Bear can maybe get one on the other end. He shoots it into the corner. Another shot on target in the statistics as Zanil goes around the side, takes out JNaps and not the ball. Good play from him. Good decision-making, mixing up the approach there for Torrent. From Zanil, a man we've yet to really see get involved in this series.
Right.
We know that he can do a lot more. Anybody who's been watching Torrent's forays in this tournament so far on day one, we know that Zanil can be very, very dangerous, but so are Chicago's bumps.
Oh,
Magic Bear has
goodness.
to free jump just to get the save. JNaps is still coming in, and JNaps, he's done it for years, has that finish.
And here's the thing about this play, Cole. We get a glimpse of what's special about Torrent. You see Magic Bear, he dodges the demo, still gets the save. But what makes G2 such an efficient team is that even when their best shot at the net fails, they have somebody backed up to go in after that rotation, after the shot comes out, and finish the job. So important to have that there for G2. It makes Zanil into the field, but still nobody's here for Torrent.
So close to Torrent's first goal, and it was from the fake. More creativity from them, mixing up their approach. Exactly what we want to see from Torrent. Still, though, somehow can't get that ball in the net, and it will be starting to frustrate them at this point as they go within a minute and 30 seconds of going 2 games in a row goalless. That has to change soon, but it's still G2 on the ball. Chicago has lost it, though, to Magic Bear. JNaps just high. This one should be won by Kinsey. Can he get it to his teammate? He can. Magic Bear slows it down, and now Torrent seem to be taking their time a bit more when they have the opportunity to. That's going to make G2 start rushing. Chicago has it. JNaps, he's so quick in the air, and they do have a chance. Magic Bear gets the save.
Now, how is this drought going to affect the mental of Torrent? Are they going to overextend too much going for these shots, or maybe they'll bring something else that's more creative? They've been going for some fakes here on the goal line that seemed to have worked previously. They just didn't have anybody in position to have the final shot, the final blow. Maybe Zanil can start something from his own half. He's demoed by Atomic, and more time wasted off the clock, off the backboard. Magic Bear to Kinsey, but it's saved. Atomic yet again. He's always in the defensive spot he needs to be.
I mean, that's how he made his name back in his Envy days, Atomic. He is just undefeatable when he's the third man back, but Torrent are going to keep trying to defeat the undefeatable. Magic Bear to the backboard. Kinsey, does he go for the race? He doesn't. Just lets JNaps have it. He knows he's not going to get too much speed on that ball, but Chicago, look at him beating Magic Bear. Nothing is working for Torrent, and then Zanil taking down Chicago. It's not going to work. Kinsey's trying to go again, and G2 just getting bodies in the way absolutely everywhere. The drought, the antithesis of Torrent, continues.
And the prediction game from G2. Look at the positioning. Atomic right in front of Zanil. Doesn't even let Zanil get a touch of it or a piece of it. Final seconds, 2 goals. There's no possibility for Torrent. And it's a 2-game lead for G2.
I feel like Torrent are just losing their nerve. They spend so much time diligently pushing the ball through the midfield.
Yeah.
You know, they're not going all out. They're not trying to beat
working
G2
hard.
for everything.
They're
They are working
Yeah.
so hard. Good, honest work from Torrent. And then there's that moment where one of these players has a quarter of a chance, a fifth of a chance, just an opportunity to do something, put some pressure on G2's net, and that's where they're missing the ball, and it is so frustrating.
Yeah, it feels like they have the spark, right, to light the fire, to light the flame, but G2, they're basically the wind knocking that flame out, and we do actually have a timeout here for Torrent. We'll see what they have to incorporate moving forward and what they can change. It doesn't feel abysmal. I mean, G2 aren't absolutely slapping Torrent on all sides of the field. There's moments, there's glimpses here for Torrent, but it is too consistent. You need to shake and knock G2 off of their very confident stance here, because nothing so far has even questioned their defense.
Yeah, they look very comfortable, G2. They honestly look like they could do this all day, and you can see it in their body language right now. And this is the team that is feeling incredibly comfortable. They know that they're on the cusp.
Hand. Look at that comfortable position.
He's chilling, man. He's relaxed. You know, he's got his bed behind him. He's made it. You know, the bedrooms are all neat and tidy there. JNaps as well. Look at him. He's a bed maker. Good to see. And G2 are just looking fine. They look fine. They look fine in game. They look fine out of game.
Yeah.
It's on Torrent to really try and make them struggle.
That's the thing. How do you stress out G2? And if you want to look back all the way to the previous major, what did Queso do to stress out G2? They hit him with every single flip reset and every single mechanic in the game. It felt like that was the only way for Queso, who are now moist at the time, or who were Queso at the time, who are now moist. The only way was just with every single mechanic in the game. Flip resets, you're going for pinches, you're going for this insane mind games. That's what you need to break down G2 Esports. And if that is the standard to throw G2 off their game, I don't know how Torrent can do it, to be honest.
Well, they need to take some more risks as well. The closest they've come to scoring was it Magic Bear or Kinsey who got that fake? It was one of them. And it really made G2 panic just for that split second where they're like, oh, where's the ball? It's going over my head. And they didn't know quite what to do with it. Other than that, they haven't really tried it. But I'm not necessarily certain it's pure mechanics. It is just something that surprises G2. Maybe turning around, doing a half rotation that G2 don't expect, taking that risk.
Or even going for demos, like I talked about. I did get the chance to interview Magic Bear, and he was talking about how in the middle of their series, they said, okay, we need to swap it up and go for demos. And this could be a moment where things get more physical. Do we see more demo plays out of Torrent? It's a very common safety net that people will fall back on with the play styles to go for more demos. And that was almost the goal here for G2 within the first 10, 20 seconds.
Yeah, I think Magic Bear is making a pitch to join G2. He's saying, look, I can score against Torrent as well, but it was saved by his teammates. Kinsey and Zanil say, no, Magic Bear, you're here with us. We have to fight through as a 3.
Can't beat him, join him, okay?
Oh, what a shot. Oh, and Atomic's there for the redirect. So close. Chicago with an absolute bullet that Atomic was reading better than anyone. And Chicago
my
towards
goodness.
JNAPs. They just passed the ball around so quickly, G2. I feel like this is the first game where G2 have actually stepped up their own gameplay.
Yeah, with the passing as well. Not only were they going for the midfield pass that we did see in the first 2 games, but it went back to the person who initially tossed it into the middle. So give and goes, 1-2 connections here for G2, and they're just continuing to add on to this slaughter with their shots. We'll see what Chicago now has. Very consistent gameplay from him. An easy clear to keep it forward, and they just have all this possession and pressure in the game so far, Cole.
You got to say, though, credit to Torrent. They have survived at least up to this point. You know, that this is the barrage that they've been conceding from when G2 decided to turn it on. And that seems to have tempted Torrent just to speed up their own gameplay. Maybe now they'll come to play with Zanil. He's boostless again. And Atomic takes out Magic Bear. Just when you think you have a spark, G2 find a way to snuff it out and then score against you.
And it's even more unfortunate for Zanil. He had no boost. He knew that the demo happened, and he's trying to just fix the issue, put a band-aid on it, but he has nothing in the tank. He can't even stall any few seconds off the clock. And like that one demo on the play, G2 Esports scored first.
You call them a torrent, and it was like Zanil there was hanging on to a rock at the edge of a waterfall. Eventually, the water is going to push you over. Nobody can swim back against it. Maybe Torrent can find a way to it. Zanil gets a flip reset. Interesting strat there, but G2, they were just camped back, waiting for it. But again, Torrent coming forward. Kinsey slowing things down, and this is what I have been impressed with Torrent. When they have a little bit of time on the ball, they're not afraid to take that touch. It's just, can they win the 50-50 and have a second man there to make the use of the 50-50?
Oh, it absolutely doesn't feel like Torrent are panicking and just clearing every single ball directly into the hands of G2. They're smart about their decisions. Like this,
Lovely
look at that first touch from Magic Bear, keeping it close, and he has a shot on net. It's well thought out, well executed, but we need a little bit more depth here as we move forward. An early shot from Zanil when Magic Bear was on the other side doesn't connect.
Yeah, that had to be a pass. Again, that was an opportunity for an infield pass. Just put some power on it, find your teammate. Maybe it doesn't work out and G2 counter, but you have to take those risks. Magic Bear does take one. Lovely touch from him, and a second and a third as well. Magic Bear's really starting to get involved. Loving what I'm seeing from him. He has Zanil in the center,
50.
Tries to bully his way through the 50-50s. Does fall to Zanil in the end, and Chicago can bring it out, but more good attempts from Torrent.
Oh, another demo, though, from JNAPS. That's what got their first goal. But a good follow-up from Zanil. It seems like things are getting spicier for Torrent. I think there might be a chance here for them to get back into this game. With 2 minutes left, there's certainly enough time.
It's the ground play. They seem to think that they can get it past G2, this on-rushing G2 that's been doing them for pace. They can use that to their advantage. Brilliant tactician. Tactical gameplay there from Torrent. But G2 are going to carry on coming as well. Atomic onto the backboard. Another couple of touches from Magic Bear. Gets past 2 of them. Of course, Chicago was waiting for exactly that to happen. A few double commits from Torrent. Not too many, but as soon as they do half of one, maybe they'll be punished for it. Atomic with the quick shot. And just again, G2 starting to turn that screw. We had Torrent surviving earlier at the start of this game. They did concede eventually. Can they survive again?
I'm getting frustrated for Torrent right now. I'm watching their perspective, especially Magic Bears, and I just see Atomic literally driving around their own half, taking boost. Every single touch he has is to somebody on his own team, like right there in the midfield. Atomic never gives this ball away to Torrent. And then that one could have been it from Magic Bear. Some high-level mechanics, but again, save from G2.
Yeah, save from G2. They've seen it all before. They're reading everything, and they are just beating that ball away when Torrent bring it forward. 1 more minute in game number 3.
All right, here we go.
Amazingly, G2 at this point have still perfect swept Torrent. Still yet to have a goal in this series. Maybe another one for G2 here. Chicago shoots. Oh, sorry, it was JNAPS who shot, but it went wide.
All right, now what do we see? Final moments, winding down. Magic Bear, a nice soft touch, but it's intercepted from, of course, Atomic, who's going to get in his face. JNAP's alone on defense, a good pinch out. And Zanil, a miss there, and they can't get the quick counterattack on the other side.
Now, though, we have Kinsey, and he does have a little bit of boost to play with, gets the flip reset, which Atomic was just waiting for, and that's better from Magic Bear. Sure, he didn't get the ball, but at least he rushed JNAP somewhat. JNAP, though, turns right back around and tries to take out Kinsey on his own goal line. 20 seconds left for Torrent to maybe turn this into a series. Does G2 have control of the ball? And everything is in G2's favor. The boost, the control, the possession, the territory, the mechanics as well from Atomic. He can just swallow up 7 seconds at a time. Magic Bear has to take a risk. He has to do something with this ball. There's better play there from Zanil, but it just goes forward. 3-0 G2 Esports in this best of 7, and they just suppress everything that players attempt against them.
It was a 1-goal game, Cole, but it doesn't feel like G2 were stressed at all. I don't know if they're listening to like some meditation music in the background, maybe some like smooth jazz.
Wales
Literally never looked stressed at all, and it was a 1-goal game. I don't know how they do it.
JNAPS is making his bed again, you know? He's just making sure that everything around him is as perfect as G2's rotations. Absolutely beautiful. I mean, even the goal that they got was just waiting for their moment and then pouncing. They didn't have to work too hard for it at all.
Right.
And we've seen in flashes that G2, were they to need to work for it, they could just become even better than they are right now. They still have more in their locker. It's a scary prospect right now, G2 Esports.
And this makes me think back to the first event here of this split whenever G2 Esports were up against Friends. And, you know, that went to, I believe it went to game 5 and it was a close one. But G2 Esports, yeah, G2 Esports, they still managed to close it out. They're consistent against these bubble teams or teams that are on the rise here. And I think that it's mainly because, like we talked about, they don't panic. They don't overextend. They don't get stressed out. And because of that, they're very calm with their offensive rotations. Nobody wants to take too much of a risk and move forward. They just keep it very simple, keep going for those midfield passes, and know that something's going to work out.
We're on the cusp of a couple of bits of history right now, Turtle. North American RLCS has never had a best of 7 perfect sweep.
Oh, no.
We are 4 minutes and 30 seconds away from that. So Torrent, do everything that you possibly can to avoid that eventuality. We are also on the cusp of G2 qualifying for London, which, you know, is less historical. I think we all expected that one, but, you know, they'll be happy about that, I'm sure.
That's a huge relief for them, pressure off their shoulders just to qualify early on. And, you know, you hope. If you're a Torrent fan, you hope you don't see it, the perfect sweep, but I think if you're just a fan of crazy stats, of course, how can you not want it to happen?
I was there. That's what I want to see in the chat for this moment, this history-making moment, which, I mean, it hasn't even happened yet. It's still 0-0 in game 4, okay? Let's just hold our horses for now.
Cole, relax, man.
Oh, relax me. Go on, Magic Bear,
is that it? That's it.
That's why. Turtle, that is why it would be history. So difficult to perfect sweep a team, especially when they are as good as Torrent.
You had to mention it, Cole. I blame you. This is your fault. You shouldn't have mentioned it. You shouldn't have talked about it. But, of course, Magic Bear, he's going to be the one to score it in that corner.
Blame the stats guy. Blame D-Rats. As if I knew they'd never been a best of 7 perfect sweep in North American RLCS.
Maybe something crazy would have happened, but whatever.
We have just manifested a goal for Torrent. But Torrent have a lead. Now the series becomes a lot.
Another one.
Double it. Isn't it funny how often that happens?
Yeah, this is wild, too, from Atomic. I've been complimenting him the whole game, but this one, he lost possession, and Zanil with an early read, the double tap. There he is, the man who they picked up. That is the exact reason to get a good 50 win, even more high-level mechanics, and you're setting up a striker.
Being able to read mechanical players of the quality of G2 is incredibly difficult, and Zanil is showing he can do it. Kinsey has a flip reset. Zanil's trying to beat JNAPS to the ball. Doesn't beat him to the ball, but does manage to completely get rid of him in the air. So no attack here from JNAPS. Chicago, though, is still there from Atomic's infield pass. JNAPS finally does arrive to join the party. G2 still 2 goals down.
Here we go, Magic Bear. Let's see what he has, too. On the sidewall, not enough boost to get it on target, but he can't get into the midfield. Zanil didn't find the shot. Of course, intercepted by somebody from G2. And a demo out of Zanil. Zanil has been picking it up. He's speeding up his pace, getting more involved on the offense, and also whenever he's rotating back, he got the demo, but a tragic play here from the defense of Torrent.
We have been full of praise for Torrent taking their time on defense, but it can backfire so easily. Those half rotations we talked about Torrent needing earlier, G2 are the kings of them. They appear against you when you least expect them. Do not let that ball bounce over your head.
That was a painful one for Magic Bear, as he expected somebody else to pick off. If Magic Bear didn't jump early on, he could have found a free net to shoot at. But instead, you've got G2 coming your way with every single shot in their arsenal and still not finding the back of the net.
Oh, maybe this time Atomic, no, another save. That time from Magic Bear. Brilliant goal line defense from Torrent. It's desperation, but now they can counter. Kinsey, he gets the shot away. Zanil is following up. He wants to go to the backboard. I think he's got a flip reset here. He's not going to use it. Just towards Magic Bear, who just slows the ball down, and Atomic can send it away. But a frantic 25 seconds or so there.
Magic Bear just got a demo from JNAPS, or on JNAPS, excuse me. Did connect, but still JNAPS managed to rotate back out. Here's Kinsey, a good touch in the midfield. Atomic, early read, and look at the speed from Torrent. They're getting over a lot of defenders, and the opposition of G2 winning challenges, finding good positions. Maybe Zanil can lead to the third goal for Torrent.
Yeah, they've learned from Magic Bear's mistake earlier. Sometimes it is better just to go for the ball. Even if you have to double commit, just get it away from your goal.
Yeah.
And that saved them there. And they still have a very slender lead. Do Torrent, how they'd love to get themselves at least one game in this series and then take it from there. But you're going to have to work so hard for the next 1 minute and 45 seconds, especially with Atomic playing so far forward. Chicago getting demos. Now Magic Bear has to boost. He gets the pick reset almost underneath Chicago. JNAPS and Kinsey there, just forcing that ball into the center. Where's Zanil? He's going to try and pinch it. Can he get it anywhere? He can, but only as far as Chicago, and he's boostless. So Torrent, they're going to have to do so much defending, I feel, over the next minute 20.
This is the true test here, and a double commit. That could be the end for Torrent and their lead. One mistake, and that's all it takes for G2 to get back in.
I need to stop praising this team. First, I praised them for taking their time in defense. They overdid it. Then I praised them for double committing and just getting the ball away. And they overdid it again.
And you talked about the perfect sweep, too, and you ruined it. So this is all your fault. I take absolutely no blame here. Okay, well,
look, you stole my shirt, all right? So you leave me alone, mate.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you very much. 2-2 in this fourth game. G2 on the cusp of guaranteeing their space in London. Hopefully you guys watching this right now will be there as well. It's going to be absolutely amazing. But here comes Kinsey to spoil that party. He wants to go over JNAPS. Maybe a fake there might have been ideal because JNAPS had definitely committed to the bit. And now here he is.
This is pain. This is so
it's just Torrent trying to play at 300 miles per hour.
And look at this.
G2 are born to do it.
Chicago got a 50-50 in that corner, and Zanil was the third man. Didn't expect a touch to come out, so he was positioned a little bit more aggressively than he should have been. It went over his head. He got a touch on the ball, but it wasn't what he wanted. And we thought maybe we get a Torrent win, but instead 53 seconds left, and G2, they're winning by 1, and they've reversed it.
So they might double that up here. Just a clean shot into the corner. They're queuing up to score. G2 surely going to take this series from here.
I love that play, too, from JNAPS. It looked like he was going to keep hovering behind the ball, but instead just left it for Zanil to get a poor touch on the ball. And I do feel for Zanil in this game. He's been third man quite often, and he's had to deal with almost all 3 players from G2 coming at him.
Yeah, I think it's because Kinsey and Magic Bear are just trying to play as fast as they possibly can to deal with G2, which you can't blame them for it, and they will learn a lot. You know, this is a squad that normally is on the cusp of qualifying for RLCS regionals, and they have made it into this top 6 at the very least. We'll go up against NRG a little bit later on for a battle for the top 4, which I think about 30% of the people thought they'd make, so we'll see if you guys still think that is the case as they face NRG a little bit later on. But they've got 15 seconds left for a couple of goals. Probably not going to happen, but they have shown glimpses, Turtle, haven't they?
Absolutely, and that's the main thing here for Torrent, and I feel like we've been saying it for quite some time. The sparks are there. The talent is there. We're just waiting for it all to connect, and it did to get this far, but they can't take down the reigning champs of G2, and G2 with this series win, they clinch London, and they're headed over there for the major event.
They're going to be eating beans on toast. They're going to be drinking cups of tea. You can see the smiles filling this breakfast.
Why is that a thing?
What?
I don't even want to get into it, but I just don't.
Look, we will have this discussion some other time. Anybody who's not had beans on toast, you should. It's a British staple.
Okay.
As British as apple pie. G2 Esports, they have no weak link. right now. You know, and they have those mechanics in their locker when they need them, but they don't overly rely on them.
Right.
They can make it seem like they're not doing too much, and the ball just plonks onto Jay Naps's head, and he scores it.
It doesn't feel like there's anything for Torrent or any team against G2 to exploit. You know, oftentimes you're going up against a top-tier team. Top-tier teams always have some kind of, like you said, weak link or some issue that seems a little bit more prevalent than the others. But in this series alone and recent series for G2, I don't see that. The only way is the mechanics, and you've got to be changing up the pace. If a demo works one play, it's not going to work again because G2 are constantly adapting here, Cole.
Well, that was just G2 outclassing their opposition at times, but Torrent certainly showed that they do have more to offer, I feel. When they're in that losers bracket a little bit later on, I think they're going to lick their wounds and learn from what they've just experienced against G2 right here, Turtle.
Oh, absolutely. So, Cole, just go change your shirt, okay? Please.
All right. Yeah, okay. Next up, we have got Envy versus Complexity.